Titles like Apex, Fortnite and Counter-Strike dominate the game I play with the boys genre of shooters. You know, those titles that everybody comes home after a long day and hops onto Discord, you get a lobby going and you start gaming. Not merely because you want to play the game itself, but more so to have it as a background activity for the banter that's on the foregrounds of everyone's minds. This subgenre of shooters are all thriving without clear-cut, obvious connections between them in terms of game design, while titles like Dirty Bomb are forgotten into obscurity. Even Team Fortress 2, a game that's constantly in the top 10 of Steam charts for years now, is not played the same way as Apex or Fortnite or Counter-Strike or Valorant or Rainbow Six or... The objective shooter genre is doing fine statistically, but they hold such little ground in the discourse surrounding games. I forgot that TF2 existed. I forgot that TF2 has been doing numbers for almost 20 years now. Objective shooters, at first glance, are a lot simpler when compared to battle royales and tactical shooters. The learning curve present for both battle royales and tactical shooters require immense effort to grasp even the simplest levels of metagame going on behind the scenes. Don't let the enemy plant this bomb by killing them before they are able to do so, or defuse if the bomb is planted even if the enemy team is still standing, or run the clock out if they are not able to plant, are a lot more complicated win conditions when compared to push this payload to the end of its line by standing next to it. On top of that, objective shooters are usually not cryptic in explaining themselves like their more popular counterparts. They may go deep in mechanics and metagame, however, the learning curve of objective shooters usually do not require massive steps in the form of learning specific concepts, such as keeping the flight path in mind when planning out your rotations or trying to read your opponent to use your utility accordingly. One may argue X objective shooter has Y or Z deeper mechanic or concept that is required knowledge for players to compete, which I'm sure they do. The point is not that objective shooters are shallower experiences, but more so since winning is what makes PvP titles enjoyable to some extent. To enjoy as a beginner, both BRs and tactical shooters require massive learning steps to be surpassed to be able to compete with people even in your own skill level. While most objective shooters are very much straight to the point with certain character classes with certain jobs and a central goal that is almost impossible to miss. Even without a person teaching you the ropes, you can hop onto Overwatch 2 or the finals and enjoy your time with it, which is not something I can say for Counter-Strike, Valorant, Fortnite, Apex, Rainbow Six and so many more incredibly popular shooters of our time. Though one thing that tactical shooters and especially the battle royales have, the quality I believe that lies behind the rise and explosion of most of the past online gaming trends: pacing. These games have downtime. They have buy times, preparation phases, running between points of interest, hiding in bushes as the last man standing, and overall they have action-packed moments of chaos, set apart by quiet moments that let the players communicate. It took me Apex Legends to get into the Battle Royale genre, to have fun and see the appeal they present. Though I kept playing PUBG and every other big title that came out throughout the times just so I could chill with the homies, just so I could catch up with my distant friends. You do not require to understand the metagame on a deep level to enjoy any one title. League of Legends is one of the most popular games of all time to ever exist, yet 80% of the player base do not know how to lane freeze. I don't know anything about League of Legends, this part was my brother's input. You do not need to understand how Minecraft works in a mathematical level to enjoy hanging out with your friends. You don't need to be aware of your impact on rounds as a B anchor to laugh at the jokes that are being cracked over voice chat. And that is what lies behind the long-standing success of these titles and genres in spite of their deeper and more complicated metagames. Ultimately, playing a game with other people is the main attraction for most gamers, whether they're playing RTS titles or extraction shooters. The sense of socializing with friends is what makes online gaming what it is. Thus, games that let genuine humane connections flourish with their pacing are also those who get insanely successful. The game nights with the boys are rarely about the game you actually play. Tarkov is just a backdrop for the banter with occasional fights. Objective shooters, while clear-cut and straight to the point most of the time, are also insanely chaotic. The usually fast-paced gameplay combined with longer rounds do not let any breathing room for the players to just chill. There's no space for banter when you're pushing the payload and the enemy team is throwing 26 separate skills directly at your tank. And arguably the most successful member of this genre, Overwatch, has a lot more downtime between action. Though this does not explain how we have barely anything to play except Overwatch. I used to love a game that was almost perfect for me, named Dirty Bomb. This whole video just simply exists because I wanted to play a game that scratched the same itch as Dirty Bomb does, or at least did. And I am yet to find this non-existent video game. So I want to explore what made Dirty Bomb so different for me. So stay tuned for a potential second part of this puzzle, where I yap about where my second Dirty Bomb is. Dude, Shadowline was fun as well. Shadowline was fun, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. Nothing is the same as Dirty Bomb. I missed that game so much, dude.